Trading Standards Business Advice Team are providing free advice and support for businesses affected by COVID-19. I'm talking to Trading Standards Officer Claire Robinson. With the shortage of PPE, personal protective equipment, many businesses are looking to produce it themselves. What do they need to be aware of, Claire?
So this is a complicated area of law with distinct parameters. PPE for use in the workplace is governed by the Health and Safety Executive. Ordinarily, Category 2 PPE and above must be tested by a notified body issued with a conformity assessment certificate and be CE marked before being placed on the market. At the moment, the government is asking businesses who believe they have the capacity to produce PPE for supply to the NHS and healthcare professionals to get into contact with them. You can do this at the link at the bottom of the video. They will ask questions of the production methods and make a decision as to whether they can accept the PPE. If you are making and selling PPE which isn't being supplied to the NHS or healthcare professionals, then you will need to follow the normal route of production. It is important to take advice on this if making PPE is not something you have done before. With the shortage of PPE, people have been wanting to help and have been making face masks out of cloth and other materials. And whilst this is an appreciated effort to try and help others during this time, the equipment is unlikely to have been through any tests and unlikely to sufficiently protect from the virus. So it is important to bear this in mind when using the purely cloth homemade face masks and keep to the social distancing rules for extra protection.
What labelling requirements do they need to follow? And if they're buying, what do they need to look out for?
So PPE must be labelled with the following. It has to have the name and address of the manufacturer, the name and address of the importer if the goods have been imported, needs a serial or batch number for traceability purposes, the CE mark needs to be on there, and the number of the notified body if the product is a Category 2 or 3 piece of equipment. As an example, face masks and visors are Category 2. If the labelling information cannot fit onto the product itself, then it should be on the packaging. So if you are receiving PPE equipment without this basic labelling information, you should report this to Trading Standards on the link below, and you should check the box and the equipment for the information above.
And does a business need any authorization to produce PPE?
Ordinarily, no. In normal circumstances, manufacturers and importers just need to ensure that the products they produce meet the essential safety requirements under the legislation. The equipment must be tested by a notified body if they are Category 2 or above, and they must be labelled correctly. However, as discussed, in the current situation, producers who feel they have the capacity to make PPE and who wish to supply to the NHS will need to register on the link at the bottom.
If a business decides to import PPE, what do they need to be aware of?
There are a number of obligations placed on importers of PPE equipment. If you're importing from a non-EU country, for example China, then you will have obligations and responsibilities for ensuring the necessary tests have been carried out and the correct paperwork has been issued. You will need to have done the following: ask to see the test reports and technical documentation for each product, ensure the conformity assessment has taken place, ensure the manufacturer's name and address is on the product, ensure your name as the importer is on the product, ensure the CE mark is present, and you must keep these records for 10 years after placing the goods on the market. The importer's job is to make sure the manufacturer has done the above correctly before importing.
Thank you, Claire. Details on how to contact Trading Standards and links to the guidance and government registration portal are below.